Hello, my dear friends. Welcome to the Talent Tricks channel. Talent Tricks, we driven to explore talents from students in podcast industry. Do listen our audiovisual blacks in Kannada, English, and in Hindi. Do subscribe and press the bell button for regular updates. My dear friends, how are you? I think you all are well. Now, what is everyone doing? Is all the housework done? I mean, washing clothes, wet clothing, squeezing, and playing throw ball with children, running, jumping. Oh God, are you laughing at me? Why is she asking silly questions? My dear friends, these are not silly questions, but when your kids or children ask you questions about these things, it's very difficult to answer. What questions are there? Are you thinking? My dear friends, today Preksha answering all our questions in today's video. So, yes, you guessed, today's topic is force and motion. Let me listen to Preksha.
Hello everyone, I am Preksha Balarwar studying in Government Adarsh Vidyalaya Dharwad. So, gravity is everywhere. But what is gravity? It is a force, right? Now, are you thinking why are we suddenly talking about gravity and a force? It is because our topic for now is force and motion. First, let's look at the meaning of force as well as motion. Force is push or pull on an object with mass that causes it to change its velocity. Force is an external agent capable of changing a body's state of rest or motion. But what is motion? Motion is the change in position of an object with respect to its surroundings in a given interval of time. There is a relation between force and motion. Force and motion deeply connect in nature. In other words, force is the cause of motion. If something is moving, we'll say that some force is acting on it, or some force must have acted on it, which is producing motion. But who discovered this force and motion? Yes, it's Sir Isaac Newton. Some examples for force and motion are opening and shutting of a door, kicking a ball, etc. Let's learn how force affect on objects. Forces can affect objects in several ways. Forces can set an object standing still into motion, or forces can change a moving object's speed or direction that it's moving. Forces can also change the shape of an object, like how force from wind makes waves in water. Now, let's see the importance of force and motion. Force and motion are important because it helps us understand why objects in motion tend to stay in motion and objects at rest tend to stay at rest. Newton's second law tells us how force affects motion. The greater the force applied to an object, the greater its acceleration will be. And his first law says that forces are responsible for the changes in motion. This law states that an object continues in its state of rest or motion unless it's acted on by an outside unbalanced force. There are 5 main types of forces. Different types of forces are contact forces and non-contact forces. Some examples of force are gravitational force, nuclear force, magnetic force, frictional force, electrostatic force, etc. Do you know the SI unit of forces? Yes, it is Newton, which symbol is N. Newton's first law states that every object will remain at rest or in uniform motion in a straight line unless compelled to change its state by the action of an external force. This tendency to resist change in a state of motion is inertia. Second law states that the force on an object is equal to its mass times its acceleration. Third law says that when two objects interact, they apply force to each other of equal magnitude and opposite direction. Now let's see some effects of force. Forces can change the speed of an object. It can also change the shape of an object. Force can also change the direction of the object moving, and also mainly forces can stop a moving object. Just like forces, motion also has its types. They are oscillatory motion, rotational motion, translational motion, uniform motion, non-uniform motion, periodic motion, circular motion, and linear motion. Remember, all these motions take place when force acts on an object. But do we need force on motion? Yes, because motion is just movement needing a force to act upon it. Also, what is force? In physics, a force is an influence that can cause an object to change its velocity, that is, to accelerate unless counterbalanced by other forces. Never forget this. Whenever there is an interaction between two objects, there is a force upon each of the objects. When the interaction ceases, the two objects no longer experience force. Do you remember? At first, I asked a question, which is, what is gravity? Also, we answered that it's a force. But how is gravity a force? However, in the broader sense, gravity is a force because it describes the resulting of interaction between two masses. Gravitational effects are fundamentally caused by warping of space-time and the motion of objects through the warped space-time. However, the end result is as if force was applied. And now let's see the answer for what is 1 Newton. 1 Newton is the force needed to accelerate 1 kg of mass at the rate of 1 meter per second squared. By seeing this statement, we can understand that the SI unit of motion is meter per second. Did you know that there is a formula of force? Yes, there is. It states that the force is equal to mass that's multiplied by the acceleration. And there is this type of force that is equal in size and opposite in direction. This force is known as balanced force. When forces are balanced, there is no change in motion. The rate of change of force is equal to the rate of change of acceleration of the object, and hence the change in force is known as jerk. Also, to mention, Newton's first law is called law of inertia. Newton's second law is called law of force and acceleration. And lastly, third law is called law of action and reaction. By sharing this useful information, hoping it helped you to learn about force and motion, I'd like to conclude my words. Thank you.
My dear friends, I hope you all liked today's video, and we come back with new videos in next coming series. See you again in the next video, and my dear friends, for more updates do visit www.talentrix.co.in. Thank you.